Hello everyone, good morning. So today we will be doing a trigger, an easy trigger. Okay, and the scenario is that we have to create a task whenever an opportunity is closed one, and then we'll have to assign that task to the opportunity owner and have to relate that task with the opportunity. Okay, so this is the scenario. Let me name it as opportunity task trigger. This will be an opportunity because scenario is whenever an opportunity is closed won. So the trigger point is opportunity is closed won. This is happening on opportunity. So we will create a trigger on opportunity. Okay. So let me select the opportunity as an object and submit it. Okay. Now understand this. Whenever an opportunity is closed one, then we have to create a task. So there is no point of doing it in the before context because we have to create the task. We'll have to associate that task with the opportunity, and for that we will be needing the opportunity ID. So we have to do something on related object. Okay, we will be needing opportunity ID. So before context is not going to work for us in this scenario. So it will be an after trigger. In after as well, whenever we mark an opportunity as a close one, so we do not create opportunity directly in the close one status. So we will only be updating an opportunity to closed one. So this will not be required on after insert. This will only be required on after update. Okay, this is not required on after insert because in most of the organizations we cannot directly create opportunity in the closed one state. So here you have two options. Either you can ask interviewer, sir, shall I create directly with the after update? Because normally we do not, in my org, we cannot create opportunity as a closed one directly. So he will say you, okay, go ahead with the go ahead with the update, or he will say that, okay, no, you have to consider insert as well. So in that case, you will write after insert and after update both. But if it is just for most of the organization, it will work in the after update context. Okay, so we will do that and we'll save this. Now we have to break our trigger into logical blocks. The first thing is we will have to check if opportunity stage is closed one, then create the task. Okay, so simply we will have a loop on opportunity. Okay, for opportunity OPP, or whenever you have to give a name to the instance variable inside the loop, try to give it name like current opportunity or something, which will be more logical than OPP or O. Okay. And then this will be trigger dot new.
We're not using a loop, we are using conditional.
Yes. Okay.
For
Sorry. For. And inside that, we will be checking condition. So what we have to check if the opportunity stage is closed one, and if the previous opportunity stage or the previous value of opportunity stage was not closed one. Okay. So we will check if current opportunity dot stage name is equals to closed one, and current opportunity dot stage name is not equals to previous value of stage name. Okay, so how we will get the previous value of stage name or the prior value of stage name? We will get it via trigger dot new map old map dot get, and here we will put current opportunity dot id, so by which we will get the opportunity itself, and then we will get the stage name. Okay, and we'll try to save it. So what we are doing, we have a loop on opportunity, and inside that we are checking if opportunity stage is closed one and previous value of opportunity stage is not equals to the current value. That means the prior value of opportunity stage was not closed one. Then what we have to do, we have to create a task, let's say new task. Okay, and you have to do two things here. First, you will have to assign that task to the opportunity owner. So you can use this new task dot owner ID is equals to current opportunity dot owner ID. This is how you are going to assign that task to the opportunity owner. And you will have to also associate this task with the opportunity. Okay, so there is no opportunity ID field in the task. There is who ID and then there is what ID. Okay, if you'll have to assign it to the opportunity, you will use the what ID. I think what ID works for accounts and opportunities, whereas who ID works for contact and I think lead. Okay, see, who ID basically means who will be like associated with it, like contacts and lead, whereas what ID means what it is, like which object it is associated with. In that case you can assign it with the opportunity and account. So sometimes they ask what is the difference between who ID and what ID. So who ID is basically uh, kind of a person who will be associated with it, or person like feature like contacts and leads where we'll have a real person, first name, last name and all. Whereas what ID will be the company like feature where you will have where you will have opportunities or account, they have company like feature. Okay, the actual difference I have covered in my notes. I will show you that, but for now you will see technically how it works. Okay, so new task dot what ID will be current opportunity dot ID. I think just write down a sample subject as this task. What are the other mandatory fields on task? Nice. Status. What are the statuses on task? Open.
New.
New.
Complete.
And then I will have to create this task. So we will not create it here. Let's create a list of tasks outside the loop. Call it task list and equals to new list of task, and then add the value in it. Dot add come outside the loop and insert the task list. Okay. See, there will be people who will be doing the null check, will be doing the size check here. If
Hello, Mohit.
but you need not to do it now. See, if you there will be people who will write it like this: if size is, let's say, greater than 0, then only do this. But this is no longer required. It by default checks the size. It will only and only insert if we have a value in the task list. Otherwise, it will not insert anything. Okay. So you need not to do the size check here. It is by default done by Salesforce. So don't add additional size check here. Just put it like this. You might also try to put it inside the try catch.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, at line number 4, uh, Is it feasible to use the trigger.old map every time the for loop runs? Or let's say if there are 100 of opportunities, so trigger.old map will fetch the old opportunities 100 times also.
It is not
Is it
fetching
feasible?
old opportunities. It is fetching the older value of this current opportunity. So this will not fetch all the opportunities. This is by default available. It's not like you'll have to fetch it. You will get it already in the
Okay,
this context variable is already available. Okay. So it will
okay, yes.
not fetch it specifically. It is already available. System.debug, and you can write exception E. So you can also try to put it inside the try catch block. See, try catch block is the way where way to identify the errors in your code, and end user will not get exception with the weird messages on screen. Okay, and where there is a confusion between candidates when and where to put this try catch blocks. Few will do it like this. So they will put a try here and put a catch by the end. That is also fine. I'm not saying that is wrong. It's just that try to put a try catch block for the code where you feel that there can be error. I feel that when I insert this task list, the only possibility that this code will fail if something fails here in the insert. So I will put this piece of code in a try catch block instead of putting whole code in the try catch block. But even if you put in the whole code, that is also fine. There not be any issue. Okay, but try to be very specific about where you put the try catch block, because if there is no chances of failing, then why you put the try catch block there? So in the DML, there is a high chances that my DML might fail and might generate an error. So that's why I have put this particular piece in the try catch block to avoid users getting the errors on screen with a weird error message. And if I want to alert somebody, then I can send email notification here, or then I can assign anything there. What that depends on how I am handling the errors. There will be a session on how we manage the error. Okay, different companies uses different mechanism. Few companies uses the different tools, like external tools to do the error catching. Okay, few companies create custom object, like you created a error message custom object, and then you will create a record of error message here, and then you will assign that record to the user who is running this trigger, so that he will go and check why this particular piece of code failed, and then he can rectify the problem. Few will just leave it as it is. Just for the safer side, they have avoid the this particular piece of code failing on the screen. That's it. But they are not doing anything with the error. So it depends on company to company. You as a candidate, whenever you write this try catch block, you will explain this thing that we can do so many more things than just writing a system.debug, because this will not help us. We should do it in a way that if error happens, then I get notified that your trigger failed, and then I have a retrieve mechanism by which I can check why it failed, and then I can take the necessary corrective measures. Okay, so most of the time normal companies will create a custom object to track or log the error, and will log a record here, so you can explain that thing. Yeah, capture and store in the custom objects, that is fine. Hi, one generous question. What if we did not know about fields of operative? See, the reason why I am telling you this, when I had around 3 years of experience, I gave one interview. They asked me every time we create an opportunity, we also create a task and assign that task to the opportunity owner. I was new. I had never created a trigger on task. My logic building was fine, but this piece where I was not aware about what ID and who ID, instead of writing it like new task dot what ID, I write it as new task dot opportunity ID is equals to current opportunity dot ID. Because I was writing trigger on task for the first time, I was not aware about the data model and all, and she gave me to write it on the notepad, so I did not get any error like this, and I submitted that code, and I obviously got rejected because of that. So that's the reason why I'm telling you this. If you have to associate that task with account or opportunity, you will use what ID. If you have to associate that task with lead and contact, then you will use who ID. But there is no direct association between other objects. It is called the relative. I'll explain that thing. Like there, when you create task, you have option to associate that task with leads, contacts, opportunity. So that is different way of relating. But I got failed because of this, and that is why I am telling you this. Yes, error handling for trigger, not only for trigger, error handling can be put anywhere. How we handle the error is by putting the block in the try catch block, by the line in the try catch block. So if anything goes wrong in the statement insert task list, then it will be cached here in the exception E, and you can decide what you want to do with that exception. If you want to log a custom object for that, and then you want to see why it failed and want to redo this thing, that is also possible. But if you will directly write insert task list, and if anything fails, then your user on the screen will get unnecessary very weird exception that something went wrong on this line, this opportunity trigger, task trigger, and then they will not have any idea about why it failed. Whereas if you catch it here, even if something goes wrong, you will not get exception error on screen. It will be logged in the backend, and your developers can look into that later on. So your users, even though that functionality will not work, users will not get the weird error message. Because what happens is that when users start getting weird error messages, they will take the screenshot and will start sending you email. Okay. So you cannot associate all custom objects with the tasks. I will see what comes in what ID and what comes in who ID, but most of the time you will be associating with account, contact, leads, and opportunities. So account and opportunities will come in the what ID, and contacts and lead will come in the who ID. Okay, Vishwapne, remember that. And there are various types of exception. We will have a session on exception handling only. There are various types of exception, like string exception, like DML exception, and you can catch multiple exceptions here as well. Okay. But generally we do it like this only, because DML, if we put a DML exception, then it will only catch the DML exception. If there is any other exception came like string exception, it will not catch. But if we make it a generic exception, then it will catch every type of exception. Okay. So exception handling we will do in one session. Don't worry about it. For now, you understand that there is, we should do error handling. We should write our code in the try catch to avoid end users facing weird errors, and also log the error, why it failed. Okay. So there are various things you get, like what error message came, you can get it by getting message. You will get the error message as well in this. So there are various things available. We will cover it in one session. Don't worry. There are a couple of tools as well available, like uh, have you ever used any tools? There is something called
Anarchy.
error handling tools in sales. Which tool you were saying? So Solar, can you type it down? My company uses this RF framework, which has error handling by default. Yeah, Sonar Cube. So this is few companies use that. So it's a package you will get by using the installing that package. You will get all the frameworks to create error. It has all the objects. It has all the code written already in it. You'll just have to use it. Okay. So a few companies use, major companies like normal companies create a custom objects and will log error in the custom object, and will have developers look into those custom objects records to see why it failed and what to do if it fails. Okay. So there are other tools as well available. Like my company use RFLIF framework, and this framework has error catching by default available. So we can do the error catching as well. See, log event dashboard. This is the log monitor it has, where your record will get created automatically, and you'll just have to see why it failed and what went wrong. And you can log errors from the flow as well as from the trigger, from the Apex classes, from everywhere. So there are many things available. But to begin with, the funda is that we'll have to find the reason why our class failed. Okay, that's it.
Hello, Mohit. Can we also log the error which are causing the integration level? Like, for example, the Salesforce has been integrated with a different system also,
Mhm.
like Zora subscription, Aptos. No, not Zora, but like Dell Boomi. So
Yeah.
can we also log those errors using the RFlib?
100%, 100. See, that depends on what status code we are getting back in return. So if a status code is, let's say, not the success status code, like it is not 200, then whatever status code may come, we will have an error catching available, and then we will log the error. We will get the reason why it failed, what status code we got, what error message we got there, and then we can work accordingly. So of course, you will, based on status code, you will log the errors.
Because I am currently working on making a monitoring dashboard for the logs error, which are
Yeah.
causing
So
in
you
the
can,
tree integration level.
based on different status code you get, you try to create different error record. So let's say if it is 404, record not found, so that will have a different error message versus, let's say it is 402, or let's say it is 202. Okay, so sometimes, let's say endpoint is not valid, sometime it is records not found in Salesforce, sometimes it is saying that unable to process the DML. So there can be different errors. Try to have different exception based on different error status code you receive from, let's say, Dell Boomi. Okay, but yes, it is
Hmm.
very much possible.
Okay. Is it difficult to integrate RFlib
See, we need not to do
use?
anything in the RFLib. We just need to install it, but it is difficult to use it. So first you have to understand this framework. If you understand the framework, then it is very easy. See, you need not to write a single line of code. Everything is already written here. You can check the code. Okay, it is already written here. But what you need to work on is to find how to use it. And he has explained everything here, like how logging features work, how feature switches work, how trigger framework. It's basically a trigger framework which has additional feature for error logging as well as feature switches. Okay, so to do that, you just need to install this package and you will be able to use everything. So you can also install it in your own dev org and then make yourself comfortable with it, and then you can later on decide to use it. It is a bit complex for new people, but it is easy, and he has
Is
explained.
it free?
Yeah, it is 100% free. It is 100% free. It's an open source,
Okay.
100% free. Okay. And it has good documentation as well. If you want to see, he has written everything here, and this is the documentation of this wiki on how to use it. So you on the left hand side will be able to find everything. How to start with logging, how to start with retry mechanism, everything. It has good documentation as well. You will obviously spend a lot of time reading this, but it has all the documentation available if you are interested in knowing. I will just put the link in the chat. This is a good framework for trigger, and also, and you can log the errors from flows as well. It's not like only Apex can do. On the flows as well, it has a core action, log email or log error, and you just call that core action, and then you will be able to log the error from flow as well. Now we will do two more triggers tomorrow. and we will move this trigger to handler class so that we do not have anything here. And then we will write another trigger scenario on the opportunity itself. So you can see that multiple scenarios working on the same opportunity. Okay. Okay, today was more of a doubt session, so let's treat it as a doubt session only. And